All right, good morning, everyone. We have severe storms coming through. These are going to be packing a lot of wind as they head towards Grand Rapids. Specifically, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for 70-mile-per-hour winds, and that is going to potentially be causing some damage this morning. So let's dive into that. These are racing to the southeast towards the city of Grand Rapids. Right now, you can see this kind of circular Boeing segment coming on down. That's the one that's going to be packing a lot of wind with it. I'm going to put a loop on it here really quick for you. And there you go. You can see it racing down to the southeast. There's already tons of thunder and lightning. So we got kind of one initial branch coming on through, and that's going to be followed by another one pretty much right after that. I don't know what this is. Okay, so we can switch over to velocity here and we'll show you that. There was a really high velocity return as I was getting this set up a little bit earlier, so that's why it's pretty concerning also that we'll have these strong winds coming through. So look at these bright, bright blues. Granted, the ones over by Muskegon here, this is a little higher up in the cloud as it starts headed our way, but you can definitely see there's some strong wind coming. So I'm going to, see what I see here when it comes through in Grand Rapids, but this is going to be something we have to take very seriously because 70-mile-per-hour winds that could blow out some windows and cause a lot of damage around the city and stuff like that. And hopefully we don't lose power. Okay, let's go back over to reflectivity. There we go. So again, yeah, we're watching this whole area spreading on down. I do believe we have a lot. Let's see what's going on here. Severe thunderstorm watch, maybe? Yep, severe thunderstorm watch in effect for about the next 2.5 hours, and there's another one down to the south as well, it looks like. So good coverage there. The severe thunderstorm watches, as you can see in this like weird darkish tan color, that's going to be what goes before a warning. So the warning is what you're looking out for. The watch just means we have the right conditions for these storms to come on through. So nothing for Lansing, Kalamazoo, Detroit, Saginaw, or Flint just yet, but Grand Rapids, we're about to get, um, you know, rolled by these things. So let's pause it here. Starting to come in on the north side. It's again the one. This is the one that we're watching out for right here as this spreads and moves over to the south and the east. And there's a lot of thunder and lightning with these. It's almost constant here, so I think a lot of people are about to be woken up if they're not already up, like me. There's a lot. Okay, so we got sound, everything cool. And I think everyone's seeing the same thing here. Okay, cool. So again, we're watching for severe thunderstorms and Grand Rapids. Very anywhere in these yellow areas, we are looking at 70-mile-per-hour winds possible. So if I click on it here, you can see radar indicated 70-mile-per-hour winds. Damage threat level is considerable, so it's definitely something to take very seriously. And again, I'm hoping I might have to get Echo and run here, but we'll see. As this gets closer and closer to us. Midland and Hemlock, we're looking at really just kind of some regular old thunderstorms right now. They're going to be strong for sure, but a lot of the severe components are just a little further back down to your south and west. And I want to put the velocity back on here because that's really what we're checking out for. And see these bright blues showing up. Now we're starting to get pretty close to the radar site, so these will likely be translated down to the surface. I am in Walker, so I'm about to get slammed here, it looks like. Yeah, that's a big area of wind coming through. Also, in terms of thunder, lightning, rain, we're going to have a lot of that. Potential street flooding out there. These storms they have a lot of moisture to work with, to say the least. It's also part of the reason why we're seeing so much potential wind damage come our way. Now, hopefully these returns don't start to spike up even more, but this is actually pretty serious for the city of Grand Rapids right now. So Grand Rapids, good idea to stay away from windows and anywhere that faces the outside too much. Okay, we got a new set of warnings just issued, and that is for everyone around us. So basically, Ionia to Portland to Hastings, Allegan. This is gonna be for Ionia County. It looks like Berry County, I think it is. And that's also for 70-mile-per-hour winds and considerable damage possibilities here. I'm gonna take a little bit of a break and just make sure that as I'm about to get hit by the winds, I don't need to run downstairs and take shelter with Echo. So we'll leave this on a loop really quick, and I shall be right back. All right, it's coming into the north side of Grand Rapids now, and this thing is gnarly. I just got some crazy pictures of a shelf cloud coming on by, so definitely, again, stay away from windows, and probably a good idea to head downstairs, especially if you're on the north side of Grand Rapids. So that's what I'm going to do really quick, and I shall be right back. Okay. Wow. Yeah. So we went downstairs probably for good reason. Those are some very strong winds that came through here. I am kind of in shock that I didn't lose power right now. Wow, you could feel like the walls vibrating and stuff. So me and Echo are back upstairs now. Looks like the worst of it has passed. Okay, so Grand Rapids is getting absolutely rolled right now. I will tell you that much. The sirens are going off, and the sirens do typically go off for considerable damage, which is that 70 mile per hour or greater threshold. So the sirens are going off around Grand Rapids and probably for other counties too, but that is because there's considerable damage with these winds, and it was windy, you guys. It was blowing the flaps on the dumpster around. It was blowing like the pool furniture was blowing around. Definitely take this seriously, please. It is a very very strong storm. So let's put on velocity again. We'll get the National Weather Service chat here going, see if they get a reading as it passes by them at the airport. Still hearing a lot of noises outside because of the storm, so I'm trying to get my own safety here as well as yours. Not very often I have to run downstairs and take shelter on a live stream, but here we are. So, okay, so that velocity is going over Grand Rapids Airport right now. So basically the entire city of Grand Rapids is in this at the moment. Ooh, that was a loud one. And the sirens are still going off. They're going to still go off for a little while. So good idea just to, I went into my safe place. I have a dog to think about. I'm sure if you have kids to think about, going to your safe place as well, or just for yourself. No harm in being safe. So yeah, we're watching out for, this is a very, very strong thunderstorm coming on through. And the sirens are still going off in the background here in Grand Rapids. I can hear them. We'll put reflectivity back on here and look at these storms. So basically, if you're in Lansing or Kalamazoo, I would get ready for this as well. Obviously, where the warnings are for Ionia, Hastings, etc. Definitely take some shelter. Here we go. So here's the loop coming on through. And again, this thing is packing some major wind with it, you guys. So here's a static image of what it looks like right now. And this is going to be spreading out in these directions. Okay. Let's see, live stream still going. Cool. Sirens are still going. So good morning. Nothing like a tornado siren to kick it off, huh? Good morning, Grand Rapids. Fun times here. So hopefully everyone's okay. And again, I'll get the National Weather Service chat going here. Make sure I'm staying up to date with everybody. You're welcome for the coverage. Let's see if TikTok comments. Not sure. So again, the sirens are still going off in Grand Rapids right now, and for good reason, because they typically get triggered with winds of 70 mile per hour or greater anyway, and that is what we were expected. That's what the warning is for. So Greenville, Ionia, Hastings, this goes for Lowell, down towards Doran, Allegan, Holland, all of Grand Rapids. It's a rough one this morning for sure. So that being said, the winds that we just got here, I cannot believe we didn't lose power. Again, it was blowing the dumpster flaps around. It was blowing the pool furniture around. I took Echo downstairs. We took a safe place selfie because it's 6:44 in the morning, and why not? So, okay. Again, good morning, Grand Rapids, Lansing, Kalamazoo. You're next. So let's get ready for this. Again, 70-mile-per-hour winds. There could be some hail with this, but I didn't see any hail coming on down. We have, and where I'm at in Grand Rapids on the north side, we just had water started dripping in through like the windows, like not even the bottom of the window, it was dripping in through the top somehow in the hallway because I live in an apartment building. So there's probably going to be some water damage out there. And it was like not. I mean, I took video, and it'll verify. I'm not exaggerating here. It was like dripping and like looked like a like trickle stream coming through the window, and the carpet's all wet and everything. So lots of wind and lots of rain, lots of thunder and lightning, and again, sirens will be going off for the 70-mile-per-hour considerable wind damage threat, as you can see there. So it says 70-mile-per-hour observed. Probably recorded at Muskegon, I'm thinking, but we'll see. Slack loaded. And this is mainly just a wind threat. So even though the tornado sirens are going off, it is for wind because the sirens do get triggered when we have wind speeds this high, and the computer is running slow. TikTok gobbles up computer stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just start reading off some of the reports. Kent County, 1 to 3 inch diameter trees down, 131 in West River Drive. That is pretty much where I am. There was a cell ahead of the line that put down 1/4 inch hail in Cutlerville. Hillside and Gaynor Avenue, Plainfield Township, 1 to 6 inch diameter trees down, measured a 67.6 mile per hour wind gust from a train spotter. Bel Air Drive and Kent Boulevard in Grand Rapids, 2 to 3 inch diameter trees are down, tree branches are down. Pea-sized hail in Hudsonville, 6 to 10 inch limbs down, 131 in West River Drive. Okay, so again, if you're waking up to hearing sirens, that is because we have 70-mile-per-hour winds that just went through Grand Rapids. Lots of damage. I was reading off some reports a minute ago. This is over Holland now. This is going to go toward Ionia as well as Hastings, and eventually Kalamazoo, Lansing, Charlotte, Battle Creek, Marshall is going to have this line coming on through. So this is a very potent line of storms coming on by, and I'll stay with you guys here live throughout the morning, just like I'm working the morning show back in the TV days. And again, this is going to be moving pretty much out like this. We have some very loud thunder. I don't know if you can pick up on the thunder and the sirens that are still going off, but they are still going off. And again, if those of you are just joining me, again, 70-mile-per-hour winds, frequent rain, frequent lightning, but tons of rain as well. The parking lot outside was full of a couple of inches of water as this was all coming down. The wind is crazy, so it looks like we cut Grand Rapids out of part of the warning there, but the overall warnings are still going. The windows, there's water coming in everywhere, so like lots of wind blowing in at the window constantly. It's a pretty old building, so water comes in. That's what I experienced here, so that's what most other areas are probably going to be expecting as well. As this moves down to the south and the east, I'll put a loop on it here for you and just make sure I'm not missing many comments. Again, these severe thunderstorm warnings are what we call considerable damage threats. That is for the 70-mile-per-hour winds, and if there is some hail with it, a wind-driven hail at 70 miles per hour can mess up the side of your house that's facing north and northwest. Are you okay? Don't cough like that. There's enough going on already. I don't need you coughing. Okay? Relax. Go drink some water. Thank you. My dog's down there. Sorry, guys. You know Echo by now. All right. So again, this very potent line of storm still coming on through. Warned. The sirens in Kent County have been triggered at least. Not sure about other counties, but I'm assuming they'll be coming as well as this races down to the south and the east. Hopefully it starts getting ahead of itself here, maybe cutting itself off a little bit, but I don't know. So let's put velocity back on for you and track those winds. So again, yeah, all of Grand Rapids got woken up to a tornado siren just now, and now everything is moving off to the east. This is not for a tornado. They're for 70-mile-per-hour winds, and that's what's going through Saranac and Lowell right now. This area. And this is what I just got here, and let me tell you, it's a little nerve-wracking. So we'll walk you through it. Just make sure that you're in a safe spot. Saranac, and again, this is going to head toward Ionia. So this north-south road right here is M66 through Ionia. You have I-96 right there. And Clarksville, Lake Odessa, Freeport, and eventually toward Hastings, Portland, Sunfield, Mulligan, Ionia, areas that I just covered when I worked in Lansing not too long ago. So again, these are showing winds, and it's very simple. It's just green is towards the radar, red is away from the radar. This is not tornadic, though, because we're just seeing like a line of one direction versus the other, not like a couplet, which means rotation. So very simply put, green, like I said, is towards the radar site, which is right here. Green goes toward the radar. This weird fuzz right here is because it's perpendicular to the radar. And red is away from the radar. And this is basically just the inflow jet, or feeding in moisture and stuff to the storm cell. Crazy weird shelf cloud came through as well, so you're going to see some insane pictures. Again, safely send me video and pictures. You can just send them onto my Facebook page, or you can email them to bradsugdenwx@gmail.com. Wow, maybe it's not just echo, man. Okay, so right now the area I'm most concerned about is actually right along I-96 from Clarksville to Saranac. This will be going through the south side of Ionia as well, and the south side of Ionia, that's the big shopping area, right? So everything like right here, basically you got like what, Meijer and Taco Bell, all those stores and stuff. So watch out south of Ionia, especially. So that's south of M21. You got this little blue line, which is M21, I-96, and then M66 right here. So this is headed right for that shopping area south of Ionia. The core of the highest winds. Everyone else is definitely going to be seeing some winds. Let me get back into the National Weather Service chat here. Here's another damage report. 4 Mile and English Hills Drive, 6 to 10 inch diameter trees blocking westbound 4 Mile Road. Another Kent County, there's 20-inch diameter trees at 4 Mile and Peach Ridge, potentially blocking 4 Mile. So it sounds like 4 Mile is a no-go, period, with various diameter trees blocking it. 20 inches is like a mature oak tree. So that's a lot. Allendale is not in the clear. In fact, Allendale is about to get this in the next 10 minutes or so. So again, the sirens are going off. I think they said they were activating the Allegan County sirens. So Allegan, you're down here. The storm is going to be with you any moment. Sirens are being activated in Allegan County. So you're going to hear the tornado sirens go off. It is for 70-mile-per-hour winds. Kent County sirens are being deactivated, so I just heard my sirens go off. "12-inch diameter tree down on house, 44th and Byron Center Road." Oh man, that's not good at all. Okay, so now this is getting into that shopping area that I was mentioning over in Ionia. Man, I need more coffee. Lake Odessa, Clarksville, you're about to have some heavy winds coming on down. Again, sirens have been activated in Allegan County. I'm not sure about Ionia County, haven't heard anything yet. But some sirens are triggered for 70-mile-per-hour winds on a pretty regular basis. So if you do hear the sirens, they are for wind, not for a tornado. But either way, it's a good idea to stay safe and take some shelter. I went downstairs with Echo, if anyone was watching a little while ago. No harm in being safe, even if you're streaming live. Just safety is paramount for everybody. So just do what you have to do to be safe in these, and I'll walk you through it this morning. It's going to be a long morning. We'll probably be here for a couple more hours. Again, so sirens are being deactivated in Kent County. Mine just stopped. They are being activated in Allegan County. And we do have severe thunderstorm warnings that are going all around this whole Bow Echo. By the way, this is what I named Echo after. Bow Echo Thunderstorm. Okay, so that will eventually probably be pushed over toward 127. So, we don't have warnings yet for Alma, St. John's, Lansing, Charlotte, or Kalamazoo, but you will be the next round that will be issued warnings as this continues to move to the south and the east. Dang. It is loud out there still. Man. Good morning. And do it in my news voice. Good morning, Grand Rapids. Maybe a little bit of hail too, getting down toward Hastings and Irving. We're seeing a little bit of a higher return down there, which would be, I love that I can draw on here for you guys, which would be this little area right here. Some magenta showing up. We have been getting reports of dime-size hail out of this, so we might have some dime-size hail, but the problem is dime-size hail with a 60, 70 mile per hour wind, you know, it's going to be loud, to say the least, and, you know, hopefully we don't lose windows or anything, but we'll see. Definitely don't need air conditioning right now, so I'm going to turn that off. It is freezing in here. All right, so if you're just joining us, I know we're going to get people waking up like crazy, wondering what's going on. Grand Rapids just got walloped by 70 mile per hour winds potentially. There was a measured 68 mile per hour wind by a train spotter. We have numerous reports of tree damage. There is probably going to be some street flooding out there as well when you get wind and the leaves come down and a lot of rain, clogged storm drains, things like that. I was just going to check the consumers outage map and see what we're up against here. I don't want to tour your new page right now. Thank you. Okay, so we have a ton of power outages. We are up to 90,000 people without power on consumers. A lot of power outages around the Grand Rapids area. I cannot believe I still have power right now. Wow. Wow. This is pretty much in a direct line from Muskegon down through Grand Rapids, and now we're starting to get outages coming in from Ionia from that windy cell over there. Actually, that is just west of Ionia. So basically the whole area between Ionia and Lowell is without power, so that is leading me to believe that that velocity area that we saw is making it down to the surface. So let's take a look at velocity again, and that would be this area right here. This is the culprit for a lot of power outages. So that is going to be going right down into Eaton County, so Lake Odessa, Portland, eventually down towards Nashville, Vermontville, Charlotte, Potterville, and the west side of Lansing. So we're talking Grand Ledge, Waverly. Get ready for this to come through, and you know the sirens may be activated, but either way, wow, that one shook the building. Sorry, whatever I was saying, wind is going to be coming on through very quickly. So that would be this line right here. So if I zoom out a little bit, I can show you basically what the consumers map is showing. The outages on consumers are literally in this area, as this whole area of wind is racing down to the southeast. So if you are in Eaton County, I am sorry, but there is a possibility you're going to lose power here in a minute, because we have a lot of power outages, over 90,000 already coming in. And we know these can be delayed a little bit. Look, now we're up to about 91,000. So they're going to be coming in. Basically, it looks like a majority of Muskegon and North Muskegon is out. That would be out by the state park. Hopefully all those campers are okay. Got some really big outages going on in Grand Rapids. Looks like about, geez, everyone in the Heritage Hill, East Grand Rapids, getting over towards Reed's Lake, Kentwood. Yeah, we got some big outages across the city of Grand Rapids. Rockford, we have a huge outage up there. That one alone is 1,500 people. Some of the ones around Grand Rapids, this one is 3,500 people. So lots of power outages coming in from consumers right now. So please take this seriously. And again, like I went into my safe place. I know that's not common with severe thunderstorms. It was 70-mile-per-hour winds in this rickety ass old building. Yeah, I went in the basement. No shame. And there's water coming in through the windows. I'm not going to trust it to stand up to a 70-mile-per-hour wind. Okay, so if I screenshot this, and I'll look at comments here in just a moment. I'm so sorry. A little behind, haven't had any coffee, a little frazzled, I have to run downstairs. Okay, post that. Okay, so again, last I checked, the sirens were being activated for Allegan County. We now have a warning out for the entire Lansing area, which was a good call because this is coming on down, and the bulk of the winds will be in Eaton County here in a second. So this is for 60-mile-per-hour observed winds, but we could have some gusts even higher than that still, but 60 miles per hour is a good threshold. Damage threat, again, for the one over by Hastings and Ionia is considerable. And this one is not rated that high, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see these high winds come on through that there may be sirens triggered elsewhere as well. See if I can get some more storm reports coming in. Let's see. Alrighty, so again, there's a lot of damage being reported with this, so please be safe. These will probably go, the side of the storm system is probably not going to impact Flint all that much. Yeah, this is a very ugly storm system coming on through. I can try and pull up some DOT cameras here. Maybe those might have picked up something. And thanks to everyone for joining in. Again, severe storms, the tornado sirens were activated, but they were just more like straight line wind sirens today for that 70-mile-per-hour threat that came through, which was definitely warranted. We had a report of 68 from a trained observer. Ten-inch tree blocking the westbound lane of Lake Michigan Drive, and that's at Lake Michigan Drive and 8th Avenue. And a good point by the National Weather Service here is if you are out inspecting damage, there is still a lot of thunder and lightning, and that's why I keep taking breaks here, because it's like shaking the building. There's so much. So if you do have trees coming down in your yard or there's damage and you head outside, keep in mind there's a very active, dangerous lightning threat still, and that is not something you want to be outside in. So let's just kind of wait until this all passes if we can, because the lightning threat is pretty dangerous. And that was a good point for them to bring up. Okay. I don't think any of these cameras are going to show anything, but you never know. So what I am seeing here is like M37 at 44th Street. There is lights on the cars only. So that is a huge power outage there. Down by the airport. That's not. Is that what I wanted to do? I don't know, man. M37 and M6. Can't tell if I would be seeing city lights there or not. But let's go to like Beltline and 28th Street. It's hard to tell. It looks like there's some lights on in the distance. I can see the sign that says Lowe's is lit up, but I'm not sure if there's any lights on at the intersections. Beltline and Fulton. Let's see, that camera's not working. We can go along 28th Street. Not working. We should probably consider upgrading these cameras at some point, because this is like bank security footage from 1994. Yeah, I'm not seeing damage on the cameras, but let's see, maybe 131 West River. That's on the highway because there wouldn't be trees blocking the highway. It's like we still got power and traffic lights on Alpine. Obviously, I'm on Alpine, but I never know like which circuit I'm on, so that's why I was looking at that. Okay, so let's see here. The National Weather Service is also having an outage. They're unable to issue local storm reports. Okay, so back to the matter at hand. The storm's coming on through. Again, Eaton County, get ready, as well as Clinton County, Ionia, Portland. You're about to get hit right now, and it's right over Hastings and Allegan, as this continues to race off to the south and the east. Now, as usual, the northern part of this kind of falling apart a little bit. Still a very heavy thunderstorm by Mount Pleasant and Alma, and there will be a heavy thunderstorm over by Midland. Someone earlier was watching from Hemlock, I think, Midland, Hemlock. So we'll still have a very heavy storm up there, but it's not rated severe. And Lansing is what we call baseline severe, which is the bottommost criteria that we would need to issue a severe thunderstorm warning. So that would be 60-mile-per-hour winds, 1-inch diameter hail. But we have had, again, recorded wind speeds near 70 miles per hour in Grand Rapids. It was a doozy. It's starting to get light out now. I bet you we are over 100K in power outages. No, 92. Okay, so we're at 92,000 power outages. Again, sometimes these take a minute to come in. Maybe I should refresh the page. 93,000 power outages. Alrighty, so let's see here. Again, these storms are headed towards Lansing and eventually Kalamazoo. Hi, Echo. You doing okay? Yeah? A little scary way to wake up today? Hi. Hello. You doing okay? Yeah? She does look a little nervous. She doesn't usually get nervous, but she's a little nervous this time. Okay, so again, this is going to be headed down toward Kalamazoo. I'm expecting these warnings to be issued for Kalamazoo here momentarily and anywhere along I-94. And again, we're at 90 something thousand power outages on consumers. We'll be adding to that drastically here in a little bit. And this line is going to continue to move down to the south and the east. So we had those 70-mile-per-hour winds come through Grand Rapids. And again, if you can safely send me some pictures, that would be really cool. Or some videos. I took some myself that I'll be posting a little bit later today. I don't know. I should be live on TikTok, but it's not saying that I'm live. So I'm not sure if I'm even live. We'll see. Alrighty, so again, Allegan, this is right over you. Hastings, right over you. Went through Ionia and Grand Rapids as it continues to spread down to the south and the east. And this is something to take very seriously. Warning sirens might be triggered. We had some crazy cloud formations come through, though. Okay, sorry, I'm checking for everything here. Okay, so we're probably going to see a heck of a shelf cloud coming into Eaton County right now, as well as Kalamazoo. I'm actually really curious to see some pictures of the shelf cloud because I ran outside and snapped a picture, but I was already kind of like right under it. But wow, if someone caught that, there's going to be some crazy cool video coming out of that thing. Cool. Thanks for the comments, everyone. Trying to keep up with it. This service is supposed to make everything streamlined, but it's not. And I'm trying to read these comments here. I'm really sorry. I can make out a little bit of these Spanish comments actually, but not everything. You see severe weather. $40-mile-per-hour winds, maybe? 55-mile-per-hour winds? In Chicago. Okay. All right, so Eaton County, get ready, and Kalamazoo, get ready. It is your turn for these storms to come through. Let's take a check of velocity and see where we're at. And sorry for the long pauses. It's just with wind and rain, it's kind of like that's about all there is to say. So, okay, but here's the line, and this is also where you'll probably see the shelf cloud too. This is like a perfect quarter circle right here. Look at that. And this is going out like this in all directions. So Kalamazoo is about to get hit. Plainwell's getting it. It's going to leave Hastings. By the way, Battle Creek and Marshall's right here. It's just not being labeled. So Battle Creek and Marshall, and then you got Charlotte and Eaton Rapids, and of course all of Lansing right there. With these winds coming on through. So again, lots of people in Grand Rapids are without power. I'm actually texting my boyfriend right now. He doesn't have power. Oh my gosh, it's early. Okay. Charlotte, Lansing, get ready. Hastings, these winds, which is what these are over you. Again, so we're watching out for that as it moves over to the south and the east. Let's put a play on it here so you can see how these are kind of marching on through. Again, sorry I'm not chatting nonstop, but I don't think anyone needs to hear me talk nonstop first thing in the morning. There's a lot of wind with the storms. They are severe, gusts up to 70 miles per hour. We have a lot of tree damage and a lot of power outages. Yellow boxes are severe thunderstorm warnings. Some of them are for considerable damage possible. And there's that line of wind coming through. I mean, this almost looks like that scene in Independence Day, you know, where like the ship is like going across the screen. This always reminds me of that, actually. So that line, though, is the winds, and there's a lot of winds going through Hastings. There's a lot of winds that are about to go through Eaton Rapids as well. And Charlotte, Eaton County is what I was meaning to say. And the west side of Lansing, too. I would also just get ready for Marshall and Battle Creek. These are going to be heading your way as well. Not sure. There we go. Now they're popping up. So anywhere from Charlotte to Battle Creek to Marshall, Bellevue, Olivet, Brookfield, Vermontville, Nashville, you're in it right now. If you're not familiar with Nashville, that's where Mooville is. Vermontville, super cute little town. I know every back road around here, every back city, every village like the back of my hand, so I got you covered. Then again, it's those pinkish orange colors that we're watching out for that have the greatest potential wind impact. Now what's going on here though is these are a little higher up in the clouds, so these exact wind speeds might not be translated to the surface, but for all intents and purposes it's going to be very windy out there, and this is the area that has the history of producing the wind, so we're going to watch out for that very carefully, and keep you really up to date as that comes on through. So again, a lot of the power outages that we are seeing, which is... What are you doing, TikTok? Complete verification to continue your live stream. Well, I can't verify if you're not going to let me. Okay, you know what? End the live then. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, well, apparently the TikTok live is going to end in 4 minutes and 12 seconds because I am not talking enough for it. So it says I'm not active enough. It's like that thing on your car. It's like, pay attention, take a break. No. Okay, so Kalamazoo, you're getting the winds coming on through now. You know, obviously we're probably on pins and needles in Portage. The warning has not been extended down there as of yet, so these things might be losing a little bit of steam. But the core of the winds that went through Hastings over towards Charlotte, be watching out for that. A good way to tell if there's going to be continuing damage going on is pull up the outage map, right? Because if those winds are verifying, they're likely causing power outages. So let's refresh that. We are up to 100,000 power outages now. 100,000 power outages now. Some of these cameras around Kalamazoo are showing very much darkening of the skies. The roads don't look too bad, getting a little bit busier. But it might, you know, rush hour, should be in the thick of it, I guess, but maybe Kalamazoo just doesn't have much of a rush hour. Definitely some dark skies. I think there is a little bit of a shelf cloud in this picture, I-94 and Miller. That camera doesn't work. That camera doesn't work. That camera doesn't work. Definitely seeing a shelf cloud on I-94 at M37 over by Battle Creek. So this one must be facing west. It is facing west. Menacing clouds over there. That's a rest area. I don't need to see what goes on in a rest area. Okay. So Battle Creek, though, there's a good potential for those winds. We now have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And I'm really iffy on these county names. Calhoun County and Kalamazoo County. Okay, so the one with Hastings is Berry County, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Echo, are you still coughing over there? Be careful. You know you can just get a drink of water. Yeah. Echo's confused. She's like, it's so early. Okay, so we're still watching out for these winds. Again, the warning for Calhoun and Kalamazoo County, 60-mile-per-hour winds. That'll expire in 45 minutes at 8:15 in the morning. Really watching out for this area of wind going right for Battle Creek and Marshall. So Battle Creek and Marshall, good idea, honestly, just to be away from windows, lowest level of your home if you can, because these winds around here were no joke. I took Echo downstairs into our stairwell because I'm on the third floor. There's no, I mean, it's a safety thing, and yeah, you never know when there's gonna be like something hits the window or something like that. So safe places, not because of a tornado or anything like that, but just don't be standing right next to a window or something. Don't be outdoors. Commuting is taking place. If you can put your commute off just a little bit, because the only thing that you're going to do right now if you leave is be on the road while the storm hits, and then if there are trees and power lines coming down, then you're stuck outside on the road. And I don't know about you, but I would rather be stuck at home. So that's where my rationale for that comes on in. So Battle Creek, Marshall, Kalamazoo, good idea just to chill out for a minute and wait for the storm to pass before we head out the door. TikTok, I'm getting really sick of this. If I didn't have so many followers on there, I would drop this like none other. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results because it may contain unoriginal or reproduced content. What are you talking about? It is me talking over a radar. This is in line with our For You feed eligibility standards. Yeah, I would like to appeal this. All right, so I'm not live on TikTok anymore. It got mad at me for providing storm coverage. Are we being run by Skynet? Like, are there even humans behind any of this stuff anymore? Because, good lord, if this is being run by the same AI that gives people like 17 fingers on their hands, we are very much doomed. Anyway, that's my rant. Okay, so we got some pretty strong winds in Kalamazoo right now, and again, Battle Creek, Marshall, Olivet, Charlotte, get ready for some pretty intense winds to come through there as well. Let's see if the consumers map is picking up any outages down there just yet. It is. So not as many outages as what we had in Grand Rapids, but the north side of Kalamazoo is getting some outages, and north of Battle Creek is seeing some outages as well. It's southeast of Hastings, so I would expect at least some minor tree damage and a couple power lines coming down through Kalamazoo, Marshall. They already denied my appeal. This is so stupid. I hate TikTok. And again, if you're outside checking out storm damage, keep in mind there is a ton of very dangerous lightning on the backside of these storms. I am still hearing it loud and clear here in Grand Rapids. You can see these lightning strikes back here. So if you're out checking damage behind the storms, be very, very cautious because there's a lot of lightning, cloud to ground lightning still. And that can be really dangerous if you're outside trying to check out some damage. So please, please be careful with that. Here's a look at the bigger picture. This is lining up with that model that I shared yesterday. Honestly, pretty well. It's getting toward 8 o'clock here. And the one I shared had a long I-94 at 8 o'clock. So way to go, high resolution rapid refresh. But here's a loop. You can see there's storms over by Chicago as well. And the loop is loading still. Sorry about that. All right, so there it is. Now, see how it's like really diving and really getting that bowing out going? That is just a really good indication of wind, and that's exactly what we're seeing with this as it came on through. For those of you that weren't watching the whole time, that might be just waking up and watching right now, again, coming into Kalamazoo, Lansing, Battle Creek, and Marshall. So basically, anywhere along I-69 and 94, right here is what we're watching out for. These have a history of producing almost 70-mile-per-hour winds. Lots of damage. We have over 100,000 power outages now across the state of Michigan because of these storms. And notice on the backside here, some very heavy torrential rainfall because some of this activity is going to seep its way back over into Grand Rapids as it moves over to the east. So we're talking about flooding and potential very heavy rains as well. So Grand Rapids, not exactly out of the crosshairs just yet. And again, if you are checking out storm damage, if you have trees down in your yard or there's, heaven forbid, like something fell on your roof, lots of thunder and lightning on the backside of this, lots of very heavy rain, and they just don't get struck by lightning, please. That would not be good for anybody. So just be extra, extra careful. Crazy shelf cloud in Kalamazoo right now. My brother just sent me some pictures. Holy moly. So that shelf cloud it's looking scary, and this time it actually is scary. So again, if you can send me any pictures that you have of the shelf clouds, that would be awesome. Safely, and maybe after the storm passes, you can put it on my Facebook inbox. That's always open for anyone to send me messages, and or you can send it to bradsugdenwx@gmail.com. Actually, maybe I'll just put that on the top here. What's this one? Nope, don't need that. Okay, if I can edit this while I'm live, that would just be super cool. Haha. There we go. Look at that. We're getting all fancy. Okay. So again, everyone, please be safe. Again, over 100,000 power outages. Sirens have been triggered in a couple of counties like Grand Rapids. And Allegan triggered their warnings as well. The warning sirens, I mean, but I haven't heard of anyone else doing it yet. So please just be careful because these winds are no joke. Getting into Kalamazoo right now, over Eaton County as well as Lansing, getting those storms coming on through. Getting a little light out there now. Not sure what the damage is out there, but we'll find out in a little bit. It's like all of Kalamazoo is in the storm now. Not seeing much in terms of damage reports. Let's check back in with our friends, the National Weather Service. Charlotte Airport, 30-mile-per-hour winds. Okay, so hopefully these are weakening a little bit. That'd be excellent. Widespread tree and wire down reports in Allegan County. A little bit of hail, pea-size, and Plainwell. Let's see. Multiple construction signs are in the road at Wilson and O'Brien in Grand Rapids, Wilson and Fennessy. Flash flooding, 5 inches of water on the roadway. Wilson Avenue and Fennessy. It looks like Hennessy, but with an F. Widespread damage in Whitehall. I'm not sure what road this is, but it is totally covered in trees from some pictures that we just got in. And now this is right over Lansing, right over Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, and Marshall. I'm not seeing any rotation out there, Mike. We're just looking at straight line winds. Crazy dark in Lansing right now. Facebook is so delayed compared to TikTok. Oh, it's probably weird hearing me talk twice if you were watching on both. Had a little bit of a meteor tsunami, it looks like, on Lake Michigan, which is where the winds actually push the water. You get a rise and then it falls, and kind of like water slashing around in a bathtub. So when the wind goes over the lake, it pushes it all to one side, but as the wind keeps going, the water's like, oops, got to slide back. And that can create dangerous riptides throughout the day today. I don't think it'll be a big beach day anyway, but just keep in mind there's probably going to be beach hazards on the west side of the state. Okay, so these are continuing to press southward. Probably seeing, again, a heck of a shelf cloud forming. So if I pause this really quick, sometimes this lighter green stuff out in front here is the crazy shelf cloud. Usually it's like an actual outflow boundary. You can see it very distinctly, but I think this is just kind of feeding into the storm and we're getting that crazy like wave action going. So probably a really good shelf cloud over areas like Mason, over by Albion, and south of Kalamazoo. My brother sent me a cool picture of a shelf cloud in Portage in Kalamazoo, so I know what's going on down there. Midland and Saginaw, we still have some really good rains coming on down, by the way. This big, huge box, by the way, is a severe thunderstorm watch that will likely be allowed to expire any second because the only areas left in it are this little corner down to the south. We have another severe thunderstorm watch, which is this box that covers South Bend down by Toledo, Fort Wayne, parts of Wayne County, actually, in Detroit. And that's for another 4 hours. Although at the rate we're going, a lot of this activity is just going to keep going to the south and a little bit to the southeast. So if I put this into motion really quick and then draw on it here for you, hopefully we can kind of pinpoint where those wind threats are going to be the highest. So it's loading. There we go. Okay. So one thing to note is you do have to watch the north side of these. There could be a brief little swirl. I'm not seeing a whole lot of that right now. At least nothing that's like super, super concerning, but sometimes on the northern side of one of these lines, you can get that to happen. But basically what we're seeing here with the way things are propagating is likely to be fanning out in this direction. So that would be just south of Flint, it looks like, and probably the southern half of the Detroit metro area, right through the middle of Oakland County. So I would expect, again, this area has the biggest potential for wind damage. So not so much for Midland, Saginaw, and Flint. We'll never say never. That chance is still there, but the highest possibility for wind damage is going to be in this hatched area that I just drew you, and that does include the southern half of the Detroit metro area, Lansing, Jackson, Ann Arbor. Well, it's already in Lansing right now, I guess I should say. But some of these winds are starting to subside just a little bit, but we'll put velocity back on here. Not as strong as what we saw come through Grand Rapids, which is good because I think if I check consumers now, we are probably getting really up there. Now we have about 110,000 without power on consumers. Definitely the bulk of the outages are between Muskegon and Grand Rapids. And we have numerous outages in and around Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, and Marshall. Nothing that is as bad as Grand Rapids, though. I'm not seeing anything from Portland to Lansing being reported out as of now. So that leads me to believe the north side is definitely weakening. But as you can see on the velocity here, where we do have the highest returns, so still seeing something getting down to the surface here. We're pretty far away from the radar site, but this is definitely the area to watch the most. And if this stays on track, kind of going like that, maybe a little more like this. Which would avoid most additional massive cities. We got little cities everywhere, but we would be avoiding Ann Arbor and Detroit. So that would be good. And let's see, it's switching back over. We just got to let it load really quick. It's going really slow. These live streams kind of bog down my system sometimes. All right, so torrential rains coming down all along 94 and I-69. This is going to be slowing some folks down for sure, since morning commute is, underway still, maybe wrapping up a little bit. Still very, very dark out there. We got more storms coming in on the north side of this into Grand Rapids. It'll give us more rain. All right, I'm going to pause because I do want to zoom out and just show you again. If anyone's out checking damage, please be careful. I mean, just look at all this lightning that we have going on. This is called stratiform precipitation. And there's a lot of lightning in there, even where you wouldn't expect it, like on the back side of the line. So if anyone is out there trying to inspect trees that came down, branches on roofs, there's a lot of power outages. Look at all the lightning still going on around Grand Rapids. Over to the north and the east, we got Isabella County, Gratiot County, all the way up into Gladwin and the West Branch area, seeing some of that. Oops, I made a bad pattern there. So please be careful. It's not so much just the storm threat, it's also what comes after the storms. And we have this activity over Lake Michigan still. If I put this into motion here for you, notice how we are likely going to be seeing some of that come back into Grand Rapids. So we will have to be watching out for flash flooding concerns, maybe even over into Muskegon as well. But some of this moisture here does look like it's going to kind of hook back over kind of behind the line on itself, actually. It'll fizzle out a little bit. The storms are going to gobble up a lot of the moisture as they race south, but there's a lot of moisture out there still to be working with on the backside of these storms. And now we have 2 more severe thunderstorm warnings issued down to the south for Coldwater, Three Rivers, as the storms press down to the south. And again, there is probably a crazy shelf cloud going on. Seeing lots of cool pictures of it. So this is down towards Three Rivers, Coldwater, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Marshall. You're still in the thick of it right now. 60-mile-per-hour winds is what this warning is for. They're all for 60-mile-per-hour winds, actually. And this warning has been shaved down to along and east of I-69. This one's been shaved down a little bit as well. So this whole line is pretty much right on time with what I shared with everybody yesterday, which is excellent, excellent news. Some of that is luck for sure, because these things can vary by a couple of hours at times, but hey, it's working out. More coffee. Let's see if I can see any damage outside. Okay, Scooch Echo, thanks. Definitely have some 6 to 8 inch tree limbs down out there for sure. Ooh, we got wet. It's still coming down hard. The pool furniture is absolutely annihilated all over the place. Trash cans are blown all over the place. Yeah, pretty good winds came through up here, and I'm on the north side of Grand Rapids. Whew, now I'm freezing as I got wet. Holy moly. Whew. All right. Nope, TikTok cut me off, so we're just going to ignore TikTok for now. Getting funky in Lansing, I'm sure it is. Got a crazy round of shelf clouds coming on through. We'll put a loop on this again. And again, this is going to continue to march down to the south and the east. Eventually, I'm going to have to switch radar sites and look at the Detroit one here in just a moment. House fire was started by lightning, Willow and Crates Drive in Delta Township. So that would be probably on the southwest side of Lansing. Or south side of Lansing. Southwest side of Lansing. Scattered trees and power lines down across Kalamazoo County. Max winds are 50 to 55 miles per hour from trained spotters. Okay, so yes, please watch out. Power outages, I think we're up to 110,000 last time I saw. We are at 113,000 power outages now. All right, and again, you can send me pictures of the email address that I provided, or you can send them as a message here on Facebook. I would really like to see them. I just took a few more of the tree limbs that I see down out there and some scattered pool furniture. No, Mike, I'm not seeing rotation. I don't know what the ABC 12 weather app is doing. Most of the apps that I had when I worked in TV were absolute garbage, and we just had them to make money off them. So I'm not seeing any rotation. That is none at all. That's concerning. So there might be a couple little Gus NATO things developing on the southern flank of this, but they are nowhere near Flint. That would be all that I see. Dropping the severe warning for Clinton and much of Ingham County. Good morning, Kayla. Hello from 23 miles south-southwest of South Bend. Oh, hi. Thanks for joining us on this super active morning. All right. Alrighty, so again, watching all this come on through. For those just joining, the sirens were activated earlier this morning in Grand Rapids as well as Allegan County. So Kent County and Allegan County warnings sirens are activated at times for winds over 70 miles per hour, and the damage threat was considerable as these came on through. I have damage right out there. When I first hopped on this live, like 6 in the morning or something, I went downstairs with my dog because the wind was getting crazy and there's water coming in all cracks of everything. There was literally like a trickle waterfall in the hallway out there through a window. Granted, it's an old apartment building, but I mean that, I've never seen that happen before, and I've lived here for a few years now. So yeah, it was a time. And now these are racing down to the south. Thankfully, they've lost a little bit of steam, but man, it's a good line of storms. So because of the storms and the wind, and there's still a lot of lightning, flooding is still possible, but lots of tree damage, lots of power line damage. 110,000 people are without power already this morning. So we're going to keep tracking it here for you. I'm not anticipating a whole lot of additional power outages with this line right now. It seems kind of borderline whether it would cause enough damage for that or not. But we'll be watching it here pretty carefully nonetheless. Alrighty. And again, still a lot of lightning on the backside of this. So if anyone's out surveying damage or checking out like what tree branches came down, oh my gosh, I have to go get my trash can. I have to pick up my lawn furniture. There's a lot of lightning out there still, and it's cloud to ground lightning. So please be careful, or just wait until it's done. Whatever is blown around is already blown around, and it can wait a little while longer before we start picking it up. So just be safe, because lightning strikes when it's pouring rain and everything's wet outside, not good. So you can send pictures and videos to the email address above, or send me messages on Facebook. I don't think YouTube has a message feature, so therefore email might be your best bet, but I like sharing pictures a lot. I like seeing what you see. It helps me do my job better, knowing that the forecast, one, verified, and two, what's going on, so I can warn other people about what's going on. Let's see, seeing a lot of red showing up on the roads around Lansing right now. Let's see, stream not available, not available. A lot of construction going on too. Stream not available. Okay, let's get these streams available, please. Definitely some slower conditions all along I-94, which is to be expected because of the torrential rain coming on down. I still need more coffee. I drink iced coffee, by the way, in the summertime, so it's not just a big cup of hot coffee. It's iced coffee. Looks like a lot of the winds are starting to calm down a little bit. We're getting reports around Lansing of 37 miles per hour from Rob Dale, the Ingham County Emergency Manager. So, yes. Hello from France. Really? France? Awesome. Well, if you know anyone in Michigan, we're getting storms. Napoleon showing up on here. Little Napoleon. Little park surrounded by some really cool old-fashioned churches. Cool little place to go. I'm actually going to go see a friend of mine in Detroit Friday. Maybe I will take the back roads and go through like Jackson and Napoleon. That'd be fun. Anyway, so here's the storms coming on by. Again, you can see that there's just a lot of moisture feeding into these things. See how it kind of almost looks like it's on fire with like the oranges and the reds like rising like flames. It's just moisture feeding into this thing. And as it lifts up in the atmosphere, it hits a point where it starts condensing and triggering rain, and that's just what happens. Isn't that kind of cool? So you think of this as the line, as what's called the LCL, or level of free convection. Anyway, cool stuff there. But you can just like see how the atmosphere is working, and it's so cool. It's so cool. So this is mainly outflow induced now, and I can tell because the southern line of this, you can tell it's just like picking up and things are feeding into it. So there's this outflow and moisture feeding into it. It causes lift of that warm, moist air as it's being undercut by the colder air, and it like feeds and it propagates the whole storm system. Super cool stuff. This would look a little different if it was just like totally straight line wind, bow echo coming on through. So it was that earlier, but now it looks like, it's more of an outflow induced situation here. Because if it was a line plowing on through, it would just look a little different on the radar. You wouldn't have this like feeding in kind of pattern that's going on now, at least not like what we're seeing here. Like the feeding in was like the whole thing now. So, whoops, that was weird. Trying to keep things understandable for you. Let's, we're really far away from the radar site, so putting velocity on here I don't think would really help anyone right now. If I put a pause on it, though, I'll show you why. So here's the radar in Grand Rapids. The Earth is curved. So by the time we get out here, here, 5,200 feet. That's 1 mile up in the atmosphere. So that's really high up. And the wind speeds are totally different that high up in the atmosphere. So if I could put velocity on here, it's just going to kind of do a disservice to everybody because that's not what it would be down at the surface. So remember, the further away from the radar site we get, it's not as easy as like this is what you're seeing at the ground because we're far away from the Grand Rapids radar site. So that means that we're higher up in the storms with the radar beam angle going up there. Okay, so I've switched over to the Detroit radar now for a little more of like high resolution coverage, closer to the planet Earth coverage over here. So yeah, there's DTX. So see now, like we're 2,800 feet up in the sky once we get over by Mason along I-96. So that's a lot better than a mile up in the sky for sure. But yeah, there's Grand Rapids. I like how I just learned that I can switch back and forth this easily. Cool. We need to pause it though because I can't wait for it to load every single time. Terminal Doppler radar. This is from the Detroit airport actually. That's why it's so small. We have access to that too. All right. So again, some of these warnings, like for Jackson, it's still going to be windy with heavy rain, but it's just not meeting severe criteria, which is 60 miles per hour or 1-inch diameter hail. Excuse me. So we're not seeing that. But still a very potent line of storms for sure. And, raining like crazy off to the north. Saginaw, Bay City, Midland still getting just very heavy rainfall coming on down. We can put a few hours. No, let's do storm total preset. So yeah, it looks like we're over 1/2 of an inch, maybe some areas up to 3/4 of an inch. Saginaw, Midland. Go back over to the Grand Rapids site and see what we got here. So areas around Grand Rapids, like we're at 1 to 2 inches easily. Like where I am on the north side of town, about inch and a half. Muskegon, 1.5 to 2 inches. So if we keep getting more and more storms coming through, that's why I think there might be a little bit of a flooding possibility. All right, so again, here's our line of storms coming on through. Losing severe characteristics here pretty quick, so that's some great news. I'll put a loop on and see if there's any new updates coming in from the National Weather Service. Could have some 40 to 50, maybe up to 55 mile per hour winds as the cell is leaving Ingham County. So let's pause this really quick, and that would be with this leftover cell as it gets towards the Stockbridge area. So let's put velocity on there. Could have a nice little gust coming through Jackson as well, but we can get a little lower to the surface by using the terminal Doppler. Yeah, so we would watch out for a little bit of wind over there in southeastern Ingham County. Could be 50, 55 miles per hour. Bunker Hill, White Oak, Stockbridge, as that's coming on through. Eventually, that'll move over into Livingston County, so we will watch out for some high winds in between Ann Arbor and Howell. So that would be like Dexter, as you can see, Unadilla, Hamburg Township, Northfield Township. I thought there was a different city. Chelsea, that's what I was thinking of. And then eventually that'll be Brighton, South Lyon. Let's get back on the Detroit site. All right. I think this would be a good point to stop and break up the live a little bit. So I'm going to take a 5 to 10 minute breather here since there's nothing too crazy happening, but I will hop right back on as this starts to go through the Detroit area as well as Flint. I just need like 10 minutes, but that'll also break up the recording so we don't have like a massive 3 hour